The Man Trap, the first episode of Star Trek to air, premiered on September 8, 1966. The book, Inside Star Trek, The Real Story, says that the decision on the Man Trap was through a process of elimination. It showed the intellectual approach to alien life for the series, and beat out Charlie X for the latter being too gentle, where No Man has gone before because it was too expository, Mudd's Women because it dealt with women being sold to minors, Corbomite Maneuver because it was delayed post-production and the action takes place mostly on the Enterprise. The show opens with Kirk, a not red but still red shirt, and Dr. Leonard McCoy. DeForest Kelley wasn't doctor yet for Where No Man Has Gone Before, so people might have been confused to see him missing after watching this episode and Charlie X. I guess Dr. McCoy was busy with other things.
Fire.
Wait, no, wrong Dr. McCoy. Although Urban was my favorite thing from the Kelvin universe. Yes, he was on Bonanza, a Western show from that time. It would take the combined efforts of Spock and Scotty to bring him in for Star Trek. Back to seriousness, from the beginning, the episode established that Bones will play a big part, since the team is visiting his one girl that got away, and her scientist husband. Something is immediately wrong from the perspective of the audience, as Nancy shows up as 3 different women, with the characters even commenting on this. The not-quite-red shirt comments that she looks like a whore he knew from Wrigley's Pleasure Planet, which angers McCoy and he sends the kid out. Dr. Crater is cantankerous, as all future scientists will prove to be in this franchise. He's resistant to the required medical evaluation that the Enterprise has come for and tries to either get out of it or speed the process along. His protests are cut short by another protest, that of a man losing his life, or a woman screaming. But because a man lost his life. The not red shirt from earlier is dead, apparently from eating a poisonous plant like a putz, and Nancy is standing next to him. Kirk doesn't buy this because really, who would eat a strange plant without making sure it was safe? And he tries to ask Nancy about what really happened. Dr. Crater and Bones eventually get Kirk to stop bothering her. Back on the Enterprise, Uhura is trying to get her own bone, that of Spock. He is unfazed with her advances, not like in certain other garbage movies passing themselves off as, anyway, Bones can't find anything wrong with the not red shirt, saying that he should just be able to get off the table and walk away. Kirk goes to interrogate Dr. Crater some more, only for him to reveal that their salt supplies have rapidly run low. The 2 non-red shirts that accompanied him run off. Spock also confirms that the plant that the not red shirt had eaten should not have caused the blotches that appeared on his face, and the scientist uses this opportunity to run off. We find that Nancy is somehow killing the men, and that she can transform. The professor runs around looking for her, and Nancy turns into one of the not red shirts that she had just killed. She comes up on Kirk as he finds the other non-red shirt, leading to all of them to beam back to the Enterprise. She runs around looking for another victim, obviously jonesing for something. Yeoman Rand is harassed by some crewmen and laughs it off. She then gets chased by Nancy, who looks like he actually would do more than just catcall her. Red shirt Nancy is scared off by a plant. She then finds Uhura and takes the shape of an African doctor pulled directly from her thoughts.
You were just thinking of someone like me.
That is not a weird pickup line at all. The creature is stopped by Yeoman Rand and Sulu walking by, and Uhura runs away.
What's the matter, can't you sleep?
Nope.
Try taking one of those red pills you gave me last week. You'll sleep.
Yes, I did just make an obscure metal reference joke there.
You're as bad as Jim Kirk. He's been telling me to take these.
I think you should.
Instead of mindlessly killing McCoy like she did everyone else, the creature decides that it's just going to take the shape of him and infiltrate the ship. Kirk and Spock beam down to the planet to try and convince the professor to come to the Enterprise. Crater reveals that the creature is the last of its kind, and that it killed the real Nancy. Bones doesn't seem to react to this, which nobody finds suspicious, but the professor reveals that he wouldn't even tell who the creature was, even though he can. The creature repays him by killing him. I feel like this must be the 23rd century equivalent of being a cuck. It then goes to Dr. McCoy's room to try and use him for defense. Kirk tries to convince McCoy that the creature is evil, and it begins to suck his salt out. McCoy is obviously conflicted, but the transformation of the creature into a true form allows him to snap out of it and shoot it. Just before dying, it turns back into Nancy and tugs some more at McCoy's heartstrings. It finally passes. And, as typical with these shows in the late 60s, no one seems to care about this whole debacle they went through. They fly off into the starlight. I really do think that this is an excellent premiere and might be a better choice than even Where No Man Has Gone Before. It's really riveting stuff. I would give the episode rating an 8.5. It introduces the big three, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, although it doesn't go too far into their personalities just yet. I do like Kelly's performance, considering that his character did just lose a loved one, and there is a hand dressed as a flower. As far as the pros go in the episode, again, it establishes the big three. Kirk is a leader set on justice for his crew. Spock is the computer, the analytical one that works outside of emotions. He did yell at Bones, but given the situation, I suppose that's justified. And McCoy is the human. Now, this hasn't been delved into too much in this episode, but it does at least establish their roles a little bit. The cons is there's no Spock and McCoy argument. Some of the best banter is between those two later in the series. And I have to say, I was not impressed with Nimoy's acting. It was like he was a block of wood up there. Not a con. The secondary characters are still being worked on. Sulu was obviously present. He actually was not a helmsman at this point. I think that is either in Charlie X or some other... It's in another episode later on and pilots the ship more. And Uhura was just pining for Spock. And thus concludes my summary and evaluation of this episode. If you have any suggestions, please leave a comment or like and subscribe. I look forward to seeing what you have to say, and I'll see you in the next video.